and welcome back here to North Gwinnett High School as we're about ready to go live with North Gwinnett versus Lee County. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll be back with starting lineups and game action shortly. And welcome back here to the beautiful facility here at North Gwinnett High School. We appreciate you joining us for the 2014 Jared Cook Classic. We're going to let our public address announcer mention the starting lineups, and when we get back, we'll bring you more action. Lee County versus North Gwinnett.
Number 5, Deontay Davis. Number 10, Tyler Powell. Number 11, Zena Thompson. And number 33, Tanner Heath. Ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineup for your North Gwinnett Bulldogs. Number 0, Adam James. Number 1, Jay Stackhouse. Number 13, Kobe Mason. Number 21, Deon Purchase. And number 22, Cam Calhoun. The Lee County Trojans are coached by head coach Kirby Davis. The North Gwinnett Bulldogs coached by your head coach Zach Smith.
All right, and we're about ready to tip off here. I'm Marcus Burnett, joined by J.L. Hemingway. Lee County versus North Gwinnett, live from the 2014 Jared Cook Classic. Hemi, we've had a great day of basketball, and we've got a good crowd on hand as the host Bulldogs take the court.
Absolutely right, Marcus. It's always good to be in the gym here around Thanksgiving time. You get your fill of high school hoops, and hey, North Gwinnett High School here, like you said, the host team trying to make it 2 in a row here tonight over Lee County.
We've got an early foul that's going to go against number 5, Deontay Davis, for Lee County. As always, appreciate you joining us here at the Jared Cook Classic, benefiting the Susan G. Coleman for the Cure. It's a great event for a great cause. The namesake Jared Cook also hosts this event in honor of his mother, who is a breast cancer survivor. So a true cause that really hits home, and a great fusion of a bigger picture cause with basketball that we've been able to see. Cam Calhoun off the mark on that jumper, but he's got reinforcements in the form of North Gwinnett's number 21, Dejan Tochkic.
Tochkic is going to need to be big here tonight, controlling the paint. Had a rough game in the first matchup, but here tonight he's going to need to get more of those type of plays, offensive rebounds, as you see him get yet another defensive rebound right here to start the break.
You know what, I thought he did a good job with that the other night, John. I do agree, you know, from a footwork perspective and a finishing perspective, definitely areas to continue to grow and improve in this early season. But I think from a rebounding and interior perspective, as he makes that great pass there to Stackhouse, he did some really good things that you could take away if you're Zach Smith. And in terms of teaching you, whether it was yesterday, even today, in your breakdowns to prepare for this game, some positives there for him.
Yeah, without a doubt. He's not your traditional big man in the sense that, you know, he's not going to be a big bruiser like you would expect him to be. He's definitely got that European flow, as you see him with the pass, the high-low entry as such. But as you mentioned, he's got to finish a higher percentage of plays than he did on Saturday night.
You see him with the ball up top. I guess his version of the high-low there. That one sails out of bounds. But the big fella active here early on and looking more comfortable.
No question. We talked about completion rate, you know, and I think that's a great term. You know, even right there as you're watching him progress, there are going to be some times where the play gets completed, and there are going to be some times where it doesn't. But it's the thought, and he was deliberate there, wanting that high-low action. Was a good time to throw it, just wasn't a great pass there.
Trying to knife through the defense there.
That's a great pass.
Drops it off. Tanner Heath with the finish. The assist by Chris Gardner, a player that Coach talked about in the game. Coach Kirby Davis says, we go as he goes. Nice way to start.
Yeah, I had a chance to watch, actually, Christopher Gardner this September with our affiliate, Shun Williams, at the Georgia Challenge. Made a note at him and actually highlighted his name and said, we need to make sure that we watch this kid again because he's potentially one of the top freshman point guards already in the state. Plays with the ATL Express organization during the summer, and as you see with that explosive move, knifing into the lane, he's definitely a good playmaker.
Well, I had a chance to talk to Brian Walton with the Express organization, and he had some great things to say about Garner and his play and just kind of where they project him to go. You know, that's a program that's done a really good job. You know, you got Chris Lewis, the young man from Milton, Tommy Amaker in the other day from Harvard, to see him there on campus. So a lot of good things happening, not to mention guys like Darrell Moore, who's now down there at Mount Bird. And, you know, they've just done a great job. I heard Purifoy did a great job this weekend once again in Adam Finkelstein showcase up there in the Northeast. So good things happening, and Garner should be one of the next in line for the Atlanta Express.
5-2 ball game. Garner with the ball.
North Gwinnett again in this 1-3-1, as we saw on Saturday night. Seems to be kind of their trademark, and I like that. I like that from Coach Smith. I like coaches that are willing to adjust their, you know, what they do in their playbook to, you know, what their roster entails. You know, sometimes it'll be straight up man-to-man. Sometimes it's a 2-3. He's got some length on the wings, length on the point, athleticism. Go ahead and play that 1-3-1.
Well, anytime you can deploy Cam Calhoun on one side and then Leafson on the other, you know, who's got that deceptive length. He doesn't really look like it until you see him stand next to Calhoun and realize he's almost the same size. You know, good long arms, and then obviously Stackhouse, you know, who can disrupt things and make things happen with the big guy there in the middle. It makes it easy to see why you go to a defense like that.
Still a 3-point advantage for the Bulldogs. Gardner has it up top for Lee County. It's guarded by Adam James. Risky pass, Cam Calhoun. One of the best defensive players you will find in the state.
Yeah, he showed that Saturday night, didn't he, Brandon, with the multiple block shots in the half court and in transition.
That guy was just flat awesome, man. When I went back and was watching the video, as you see the three-pointer there for James. Calhoun's length, his activity, his willingness to rebound, his willingness to block. I mean, literally, as I sat and broke that game down for notes to prepare for today's contest, really had a different appreciation than even I had when I was sitting here on Saturday night taking it all in. Just some of the things that showed up on film, the timing to be able to block the shots. Not only the block, but the timing to do it without fouling. I mean, you think about the amount of block shots that he had from the perimeter, the amount of rebounds, all of those things, and was never in serious foul trouble. Impressive night from Cam Calhoun.
And those blocks all came under the 3-minute mark in a game that was back and forth. So, you know, key plays regardless, whether they're first quarter or fourth quarter, but the fact that they were so clutch in a close win for North Gwinnett. Big plays from Calhoun. We have a substitution for Lee County into the game, number 31.
Oh, goodness. And right on cue, another transition block.
That's what he does. 8-2.
It's amazing. Literally, you just hear the oh, the roar of the crowd there for young Calhoun, man.
As it'll be North Gwinnett's ball out of bounds. James with it. So in the corner, the big fella. Big fella, not the most, the safest pass made, but he gets over to Cameron Calhoun.
He likes the pass.
He does.
It's one of the early things that you can notice about him. Lee County in this, not quite sure if it's a matchup zone or just a switching man-to-man, but definitely more of a softer type defense, trying to pack it in, pack the driving lanes to prevent North Gwinnett from being able to slash to the hole. But right now, Lee County's, their biggest concern is not on the defensive end, it's on the offensive end. Only 2 points here in the early going.
Let's take a look at the Coach Hemi cam for that instant replay of exactly what Cameron Calhoun can do on the defensive end. He had 3 huge blocks there in their first game of the tournament, and here we see what he's doing against Lee County. Welcome to Sewanee to Lee County.
Oh, what a pass.
Calhoun says on that play. So back to gameplay, still a 9-2 ball game, 7-point advantage for North. Number 11, Tyler McConnell touching base with Coach Kervin Davis. Couple substitutions for North Gwinnett. Number 5, Daniel Immature Bebe, and number 2, A.J. Hancock.
Both of these young men had some great minutes the other night and actually finished out the game. We talked about the overtime segment and what North needed to do to win and all those things. Daniel gave them some great minutes there around the rim, while Hancock was able to come in and play the role of a secondary wing scorer, a nice addition alongside Calhoun. Be interesting to see the kind of minutes that those guys were able to give. Again, tonight, Hancock actually had a chance to do a little research. He's a really good football player for North Gwinnett's football team as well.
They've been known to have a couple good ones. I think the namesake of this tournament.
Young Jared Cook, man.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good example.
Well, and ironically, his older brother before him, Jason Cook. Jason Cook was an outstanding football player who doubled as a hustle man 4 out here on the basketball floor, man. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Had the opportunity to speak with Jason's father and mother, before everything got started on Saturday. And they said both the young men are doing well and want to wish them and their families the best.
Calhoun gets it ahead to Stackhouse. Calhoun will have it up top. 2 minutes, 28 seconds and counting left to play here in the first quarter. A little bit of patience being shown by North Gwinnett. Calhoun tries to muscle that one in. He misses, but Immature Bebe got his back on the offensive glass.
That's exactly what he does, man. He is an effective rebounder. A lot like Hoffman in the last game for GAC, minus the shooting ability and range to the three here. To note, we have not seen that from Daniel. But the same type of energy, same type of aggressiveness and frame there on the interior.
As he puts them up 11-3, that deep three-pointer off the mark. Stackhouse with the rebound. Get it over to Calhoun. You talk about, no gradual transition for Calhoun. When you look at his role from last year's team to now, we've seen him bring the ball up the floor the majority of the possessions.
Well, he's done a good job with it. You look at Saturday night and then what's happening here early anyway in the first 6.5 minutes of this game. And he's just been a steady calming force, which is not something that I could have projected 12 months ago from Cameron Calhoun based on what I was seeing at that point, that he would be able to play the top of the 1-3-1 on this end and then play the point on offense when need be. It just wasn't something that I was looking for out of his game and his development, but it's exactly what's happened.
Able to drop it off. Shot doesn't go, but got a trip to the free throw line there. It'll be for number 31 for Lee County.
And this is something you don't want to do if you're North Gwinnett. You don't want to give Lee County an opportunity to get to the line and get a rhythm. You want to force them to make field goals. You don't want to give them any easy looks, whether it's transition layups or free throws right now. Force them to keep having to make shots in the half-court set where they struggled to do here in the first 7 minutes.
The Lee County team that lost 9 seniors last year. So the guys getting used to playing different roles here. They were able to make the state playoffs for the first time in coach's tenure there at the school last year. So some good momentum going into this 2014-2015 season.
Some good young prospects and guys like Garner, man. So plenty of, kind of like what we talked about in the other league, the one out of Huntsville the other night. Plenty of reason for optimism there in Lee County right now.
He's going to have a foul there. Foul going to go against Almanzo Brown. It'll be Lee County inbounding there along the sideline. 35 seconds and counting left to play here in the first quarter. SWAT team. Immature Bebe with the block. They get it ahead to Stackhouse. Stackhouse finishing on the fast break.
I wrote about Stackhouse in our recap from day one. He made plays. He finished around the rim. And in a lot of ways, he joined Calhoun as that second scorer. We talked about Hancock coming in, kind of pitching in relief there, giving him that third perimeter option. But when North needed a basket, especially late in the game, the last 10 to 12 minutes, it was the Stackhouse or Calhoun that was converting the play more times than not. And if he could continue to provide that throughout the course of the season with the status of a guy like Malik Carter being up in the air right now, that's going to be an important cog to this machine for Coach Zach Smith.
One of the things I like about Stackhouse is that he often avoids the DTM. He does what he does well, and that's it.
Agreed, wholeheartedly. I have an affinity for people who do not DTM, a.k.a. doing too much for you listeners out there. Don't get caught DTMing. We will call you out. Compliments of the SUVtv.
Hancock with the layup drill. The assist by Immature Bebe.
I told you, those two guys, man. I also have an affinity for guys who are productive. They don't necessarily have to be flashy. They don't have to be 20-point-a-night guys. But guys, when they come in, you can almost count on the production you're going to get, and both of those guys have given us reason to believe that from them.
As we end the first quarter, I want to take a break and recognize our sponsors. Special thanks to Jared Cook here at this Tip-Off Classic, benefiting Susan G. Coleman for the cure. Also want to thank Crossover, the official analytics provider of the SUV. Coaches, they break down game film and give you the stats that you're looking for. Let them save some of your time. Gwinnett Daily Post. Check out GwinnettDailyPost.com for all things Gwinnett. If you're looking to view things from the specific lens of prep sports, be sure to check out GwinnettPrepSports.com. And last but not least, the official sports construction specialist of the SUVtv Sports. They've done the flooring for facilities such as McCamish Pavilion at Georgia Tech, the facility there at Phillips Arena for the Atlanta Hawks, and so on and so forth. So, Marcus Burnett joined by J.L. Hemingway and Brandon Clay. Hemi, give me your thought on the game thus far and some of the key elements you'll be looking for as the second quarter gets started.
Well, first off, I think North Gwinnett has done a good job of getting started, and a good jumper right there by number 23, Malik McCray. I've just been impressed with the poise of North Gwinnett. They've just taken care of business. Obviously, a very good job on the defensive end, holding Lee County to just 3 points. For Lee County, they've got to get an identity right now, and I'm not sure where the points are going to come from, and they may not even know where the points are going to come from for that matter. They're young. Like you said, they lost 9 seniors and such, so this is a good early season test, and they're going to have to kind of mix it up some, whether that's by changing the tempo, changing the pace, whether press, trap, whatever the case may be, but kind of a slow start for them.
We got a trip to the free throw line here. Number 23, it's Almanzo Brown. Brown strong on the free throw. Substitution coming in for North Gwinnett, going to be number 13, Colby Leifson. Brown will have a seat.
And Leifson's a guy that really hadn't gotten going here in this Jared Cook Classic as of yet. Know that he can shoot the ball. I actually saw him, Brandon. We actually coached his team at the Georgia, or the On the Radar Hoops Spring Showcase. And really know that he's a shooting specialist, but just hadn't got it going here so far this weekend.
That was a great day of my existence, man. Had the opportunity to roll into Oglethorpe, take some evaluations, wound up on the sideline coaching, gave those young men my all, man. I took them from the bottom to the top in that day, Jonathan.
We've had some of the winningest coaches in Georgia here on the broadcast today, but in terms of camp settings, I don't think there's a coach with a better record than you, B. Clay.
Hey, man, I do what I can. I try to come in, man, provide some energy from the bench, man, get those guys excited about life, man. Sometimes they just get a little down, man. They need a little motivation.
Sometimes you got to fulfill a need even though you lead the league, fella. Nice ball movement being applied here by Lee County, being patient. You can hear feet moving. If you were not to be able to see these images, if you were to just hear North Gwinnett on defense, they're doing a great job moving, but Lee County does what it takes to be able to get that three from the corner.
Well, John, you mentioned where the points are going to come from. I think they're going to have to come from that young man right there, Mr. Garner. I think that's going to be your primary scorer here for Lee County. And then everybody's able to play off of him, very similar to what North does with Calhoun. Everybody plays off of him as the game goes on, and he makes plays. Bang.
Calhoun right on cue. Knocks down a three to make it 18-9. Deep three-pointer from Gardner. As the North Gwinnett student section lets them know what that shot's classified as.
All 12 of them, they're doing a heck of a job over there, man. Dressed up in the jerseys. I think those are the jerseys we wore back in my day over there, man. Looking good.
Throwback on a Tuesday, or on a Monday, I should say. I'm jumping to Tuesday already.
You're getting excited, man. Tuesday night showcase. You ready for the squad to go up?
I am. It'll be Whitfield Academy versus North Gwinnett. A very good matchup. But first things first, they've got to focus on Lee County and being able to get one from the Trojans here. Cameron Calhoun will go to the free throw line.
Well, if you're North Gwinnett and Zach Smith right now, up 9, 6 minutes to go here in the second quarter. The last thing you want to do is give Lee County life. You held them to 3. They've already got 2 threes here in the quarter in the first couple of minutes. The last thing you want to let them do is stick around and keep this thing in single digits. You want to take this thing, put your foot on the gas, and really take it away if you can do it right here.
Leifson trying to go inside. They'll kick it out top, but nearly stolen.
Can't turn the basketball over. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, when we talk about being able to take this thing to another level, get that lead out to 17 or 18, you have to execute every bit as well as we're talking about Lee County executing to get back into this game. You've got to find ways to not turn the basketball over and to convert high percentage plays.
It's a 9-point game, just over 5 minutes left to play here in the second quarter.
I like what Lee County's doing here with this offense. They're trying to screen the backside of the zone, and they're putting that backside wing at a decision. If he pops out to cover the shooter in the corner, the screener flashes right into the middle of the lane as number 15, Curtis Williams, did right there and draws the foul. Two possessions ago, they actually freed up Gardner up to 3. And the 3 that he took on that possession was very good because it was in rhythm. He got a good look at it. It was in range. The 3s that he's taken otherwise, they've been a few steps off the lane, not necessarily in range. So, like you've mentioned, Brandon, having patience, working within, what you're trying to do is going to be key for both teams.
The big fella gets his first trip to the free throw line. Very active to start the game. Get a chance to get another tally on the board there, just short on the front end of the 1-and-1. Three-pointer on the way.
North leaving opportunities on the board, and sure enough, Lee County comes right back. They're a team that has shown they want to shoot the 3. They're very comfortable taking that shot, and that is a shot, much like we saw in the last game with Peachtree Ridge, that if a team gets hot and starts to feel it a little bit, can allow them right back into the game, and that's exactly what's happened.
It's the sophomore Joe Estrada gets that three-pointer to go. We've got a full timeout taken here by Coach Smith, so we'll take that full timeout with them. When we get back, we'll bring you more of this one, North Gwinnett versus Lee County. Back from the full timeout, ready to resume play. We've got 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. North Gwinnett has a 6-point advantage here versus the visiting Trojans of Lee County. Marcus Burnett joined by J.L. Hemingway and Brandon Clay.
This is a good-looking set right there, although Calhoun can't finish. Really illustrates the versatility of Calhoun. But again, the story continues to be really for both teams, just some missed opportunities and leaving points out there on the court.
I just talked with, Gwinnett Daily Post sports writer Guy Curtright about that same thing here during the timeout. Just the inability of both teams to complete plays at a high rate. Here Calhoun gets another opportunity and knocks that one down.
Coach Smith obviously saw something in that matchup zone defense that Lee County is running, made the adjustment, and he's found Calhoun posting up twice in a row.
Adam James off the mark on the three-pointer. Working off and getting it done, Leifson. As he makes it a double-digit advantage for North Gwinnett. Estrada with it up top. NBA range there, off the mark. James gets behind the defense
James.
and finishes.
Well, we've said it so many times, Marcus, on the broadcast. Long threes lead to long rebounds, which lead to transition shots. And I've got a feeling that's what Coach Davis is about to tell his team right here in this timeout.
The advantage is 12 for North Gwinnett. And fellas, for those that maybe haven't joined us on some of the other broadcasts, give us your capsule summary of some of the bright spots as far as some of the players and team performances we've seen here at the Jared Cook Classic.
Trey Hansborough from Buford High School, 6'3" guard, senior, terrific with the basketball. Led the comeback on Saturday night to knock off Walton High School, as well as being able to hold off. Goodness, who did they hold off here today?
They held off
Alpharetta. They played Alpharetta.
yeah.
Devontae K got it.
Yeah. So Trey Hansborough, I think, is my my first vote for all classic team.
I'm taking Aaron with the second pick, Peachtree Ridge. What a performance he led them to today. You know, heck, you could take the whole backcourt. Him, take Hayward, just start taking people, man. You could take like 5 people from Peachtree Ridge after that performance today. But Aaron definitely sparked it, led the way, made shots, facilitated, defended, rebounded. Really just kind of does what he does, man.
Shoot 13 of 15 from three-point range in the first half for Peachtree Ridge here tonight.
Everybody hit threes. The president of the Booster Club came down and hit a three.
I think Arrington hit a 3 too, man. It was crazy. I saw him come across the line real quick. He stepped in and hit it from the B and went right back to the bench.
James. Using the window and making it 26-12.
He's going to be the first guy to get an ad lib after every shot he makes for the rest of the time that I watch North Gwinnett play, man.
Again, it's Calhoun with those active
Look at this
hands.
guy. Look at this guy. Oh, baby. Let's go, Cam.
Happy Jared Cook Classic to the fans here on site, as they see Cameron Calhoun take flight.
Right. Anytime that guy gets the ball in transition like that with no one in front of him, man, you can go ahead and chalk it up like it's Santa Barbara and the MJ Camp flight school.
Three-pointer on the way from Stackhouse. We're going to have an offensive foul called there.
Foul starts approaching. That's his first personal. Team 6.
Not an offensive foul, I should say. It was something off the ball. And
Yeah, it was a loose ball foul, and then
Toshik wasn't happy about it. He said something to draw a quick tee. As we're going to have the technical foul shots, we'll go ahead and take a look at the CoachHemi.com cam for the instant replays. You see Calhoun gets another steal, no surprise. Brandon.
Whoa, yoom! Punishing the rim with reckless abandon. Flies, misses the Lee County guy, Cam Calhoun, at his finest, in the air, in transition for 2.
We're back to the action. The free throw. Technical free throws knocked down by Lee County.
They actually gave him 2 fouls. He picked up the loose ball foul there, Tojic that is, and then also was credited for the technical foul. So Zach Smith was going to pull him regardless, but now with 2 fouls, he'll probably sit for the remainder of the half anyway.
We kind of heard Coach Smith telling him, hey, big fella, let me handle those officials, Chief. I'll take care of that part.
Well, it's so tough. I mean, at any level, but especially at the high school level, honestly, Marcus, there's so much going on. You know, you're maturing into your game and your frame, and you're finding yourself as a person. And, you know, if you've had a long day or a rough day, or, you know, things haven't gone right for whatever reason, man, you know, things can get out of hand pretty quickly. So good move there by Coach Smith to go ahead and pull the reins in on that one. Hey, come on over here. You coming with me. Go ahead and find this seat.
As the first free throw is good there for number 21, Jalen Wimberly. Wimberly just a sophomore.
And Lee County's left a lot of opportunities on the free throw line here early. A lot of chances to cut this game and, you know, have it at single digits at the half. Nice move there by Hancock.
Pass ahead there as Trojans got off to the races quickly. Wimberly will get another trip to the free throw line.
I like what I'm seeing out of Wimberly right here, guys. Slasher, just a sophomore, good size, stands about 6'3". Good looking stroke. You know, you start talking about, you know, those type of future prospects, you know, that are going to be on the radar, you know, with the OTR Hoops report. This is definitely a kid that'll go in.
No doubt. He and Garner both, too, will have invitations to the Elite Basketball Academy Top 40 workout in March, the day after the state championships on that Sunday. SUVtv, presented by PeachStateBasketball.com, will be in the building.
Finally, a good look at three there for Leeson. It's just off the mark. North Gwinnett with the offensive rebound and their foul.
In a lot of ways, Leifson and then, you know, Ethan Smith, when he comes off the bench for these guys, they're going to need them to provide some outside shooting. You know, maybe in this game, maybe not. But during the course of the season, you look at the rigid schedule that Zach Smith and his team have. You got to play Norcross on December the 4th. I mean, this is not a lightweight schedule for the faint of heart by any means. So they're going to need some people who can help stretch the floor and make the game a little bit easier for Stackhouse, Calhoun, Hancock, and James.
Cut off the baseline for Calhoun. He'll kick it out to Hancock. Here's James.
Oh,
Hancock.
that was smooth.
Nice
Got caught under the rim, but that was a good move. Good footwork. Just got caught. On the other hand, good pass ahead by Garner. Little fumble there. Wimberly can't get his hands on it. So two missed opportunities, one on each end here for these teams.
You can tell Williams was getting ready for the finish there. So I tried to get it done before the ball arrived. So 13-point advantage for North as we approach the final 20 seconds or so of this first half. James up top. Under the 10-second mark now. James going to kick it to the corner. They try to force that pass to Immature Bebe. And luckily for North Gwinnett, that lead is in better shape than the way that possession ended the first half for them, but they're good to go. They currently lead by 13 going into halftime. Thanks for watching the Jared Cook Classic here on SUVtv, and we'll catch you back here after halftime.
Great specials going on. Feel the flavor, taste the heat.
Crossover intelligence for basketball can save you hours of time. We break down and stat your game film for you and act as your video coordinator by giving you searchable clips, advanced statistics, shot charts, and a lot of other great info that you can access from any PC or through our iPad application. Just upload your video through the Crossover website, and 24 hours later, your film will be completely indexed and tagged. Each play will become its own video clip, allowing you to search the footage for anything you'd like. Here we'll take a look at all three-pointers that were made in the fourth quarter. All of your offensive and defensive sets can also be tagged, so you can view the appropriate clips and determine which plays are achieving the best results. You can add any clip to a playlist or highlight reel and share everything with your players or assistant coaches. Crossover will also provide you with all of the numbers from each game, including complete player stats for both teams and advanced metrics like these. We even take the shooting numbers a step further with an interactive shot chart that lets you visualize the data. Filter by player, quarter, makes or misses, and click on any shot to watch the corresponding video. Crossover intelligence will keep you from spending hours in the film room and get you back to actually coaching. Together, we can turn smarter video into more wins for your team. That's the crossover effect. Crossover intelligence for basketball can save you hours of time. We break down and stat your game film for you and act as your video coordinator by giving you searchable clips, advanced statistics, shot charts, and a lot of other great info that you can access from any PC or through our iPad application. Just upload your video through the Crossover website, and 24 hours later, your film will be completely indexed and tagged. Each play will become its own video clip, allowing you to search the footage for anything you'd like. Here we'll take a look at all three-pointers that were made in the fourth quarter. All of your offensive and defensive sets can also be tagged, so you can view the appropriate clips and determine which plays are achieving the best results. You can add any clip to a playlist or highlight reel and share everything with your players or assistant coaches. Crossover will also provide you with all of the numbers from each game, including complete player stats for both teams and advanced metrics like these. We even take the shooting numbers a step further with an interactive shot chart that lets you visualize the data. Filter by player, quarter, makes or misses, and click on any shot to watch the corresponding video. Crossover Intelligence will keep you from spending hours in the film room and get you back to actually coaching. Together, we can turn smarter video into more wins for your team. That's the crossover effect. Crossover Intelligence for basketball can save you hours of time. We break down and stat your game film for you and act as your video coordinator by giving you searchable clips, advanced statistics, shot charts, and a lot of other great info that you can access from any PC or through our iPad application. Just upload your video through the Crossover website, and 24 hours later, your film will be completely indexed and tagged. Each play will become its own video clip, allowing you to search the footage for anything you'd like. Here we'll take a look at all 3 pointers that were made in the fourth quarter. All of your offensive and defensive sets can also be tagged, so you can view the appropriate clips and determine which plays are achieving the best results. You can add any clip to a playlist or highlight reel and share everything with your players or assistant coaches. Crossover will also provide you with all of the numbers from each game, including complete player stats for both teams and advanced metrics like these. We even take the shooting numbers a step further with an interactive shot chart that lets you visualize the data. Filter by player, quarter, makes or misses, and click on any shot to watch the corresponding video. Crossover Intelligence will keep you from spending hours in the film room and get you back to actually coaching. Together, we can turn smarter video into more wins for your team. That's the crossover effect. Crossover Intelligence for basketball can save you hours of time. We break down and stat your game film for you and act as your video coordinator by giving you searchable clips, advanced statistics, shot charts, and a lot of other great info that you can access from any PC or through our iPad application. Just upload your video through the Crossover website, and 24 hours later, your film will be completely indexed and tagged. Each play will become its own video clip, allowing you to search the footage for anything you'd like. Here we'll take a look at all 3 pointers that were made in the fourth quarter. All of your offensive and defensive sets can also be tagged, so you can view the appropriate clips and determine which plays are achieving the best results. You can add any clip to a playlist or highlight reel and share everything with your players or assistant coaches. Crossover will also provide you with all of the numbers from each game, including complete player stats for both teams and advanced metrics like these. We even take the shooting numbers a step further with an interactive shot chart that lets you visualize the data. Filter by player, quarter, makes or misses, and click on any shot to watch the corresponding video. Crossover Intelligence will keep you from spending hours in the film room and get you back to actually coaching. Together, we can turn smarter video into more wins for your team. That's the crossover effect. Crossover Intelligence for basketball can save you hours of time. We break down and stat your game film for you and act as your video coordinator by giving you searchable clips, advanced statistics, shot charts, and a lot of other great info that you can access from any PC or through our iPad application. Just upload your video through the Crossover website, and 24 hours later, your film will be completely indexed and tagged. Each play will become its own video clip, allowing you to search the footage for anything you'd like. Here we'll take a look at all 3 pointers that were made in the fourth quarter. All of your offensive and defensive sets can also be tagged, so you can view the appropriate clips and determine which plays are achieving the best results. You can add any clip to a playlist or highlight reel and share everything with your players or assistant coaches. Crossover will also provide you with all of the numbers from each game, including complete player stats for both teams and advanced metrics like these. We even take the shooting numbers a step further with an interactive shot chart that lets you visualize the data. Filter by player, quarter, makes or misses, and click on any shot to watch the corresponding video. Crossover intelligence will keep you from spending hours in the film room and get you back to actually coaching. Together, we can turn smarter video into
And welcome back to the Jared Cook Classic as we're just seconds away from getting the second half kicked off. I want to take some time to recognize some of our sponsors here. Jared Cook, namesake and sponsor. Crossover. Gwinnett Daily Post, and specifically with GDP, Gwinnett Prep Sports. Also, as we are ready to get started with the second half, Marcus Burnett joined by Brandon Clay and J.L. Hemingway as Lee County starts off the second half by creating a turnover. Chris Gardner with the ball up top. Fellas, second half underway, 13-point deficit being faced by Lee County. Hemi, what do you see as some of the keys here in the second half?
Well, first of all, although this has been admittedly a bit of an ugly game, I think you've got to give Lee County a lot of credit defensively. The matchup zone that they're playing, and right on cue, North Gwinnett finds a hole in that zone. They've done a very good job of kind of closing up the gaps and not giving North Gwinnett just a lot of easy looks. So, with that said, there have been some opportunities that have been, left at the free throw line and in transition. But I like what Lee County is doing defensively. They're going to need to do more of that to stay in this ball game. On the offensive end, they got to get back into that rhythm, that we saw, a couple of possessions where they were screening the backside of the zone, rotating, you know, the basketball from side to side, and then somebody's just going to have to get hot, you know, whether that's Gardner or, you know, even the Estrada kid that came in and hit a three late. So they're gonna need to find somebody.
Lee County inbounds the ball off the mark on the shot. North Gwinnett with the ball. Brandon, give us an overview of this new look North Gwinnett team and why they were able to have some of that success in the first half, enough to garner a 13-point advantage once we started the second half.
Well, it's interesting to watch this group for the second time here in 2 games and to see how much more comfortable they look playing with each other than they did the other night. You know, Calhoun seems very comfortable tonight in that lead scorer role. Stackhouse, James. You've got a lot of different pieces now. And, you know, I think even James is a little more comfortable here tonight than he was the other night. So I just think you're starting to see a little bit of the cohesion. And like I said, they got some early tests. Obviously, tomorrow night and our Tuesday night showcase will be a big one. Norcross next week. So they're going to have to gel pretty quickly. But this is a good group. And then hopefully at some point be able to add Malik Carter back into the mix and be able to go from there.
That was a high-level play that you just saw down there, a post feed. Although they didn't get the look, Leifson was setting a flare screen for the guard on top, and instead the big man threw a baseline for the three to James.
Gardner leaves that layup just short.
Uh-oh. Cam time. You, Mr. Calhoun.
He's definitely had some above-the-rim moments already here in this game.
Brandon, talk about some of the top athletes just in the county. I mean, Calhoun's got to be at the top of that list.
Oh, yeah, no question, man. I think when you start to break down what's here, especially this year, and it's interesting because I think the county across the board is not as deep as it's been in some recent years, you know, with guys that, you know, maybe are top shelf athletes, but Tim Cameron down at Norcross, I think is a guy definitely in that mix. So, you know, still a lot of guys that can come out and be able to make a play on your head, not to mention young Eric Jameson, who we just saw in the last game for GAC. A lot of guys who can come in, and if you're not careful, man, they can put you on a poster like Wesley Johnson did to Gallinari last night. I know you fellas saw that. That was ugly.
Yeah, it was, man. It's tough as we see the pass ahead by the big man Toshik. And again, Cameron Calhoun doing what he does.
What I say, slam time is Cam time, Mr. Calhoun.
Got the Bulldog crowd rocking his timeout on the way. 22-point advantage for North Gwinnett. 5:18 left here in the third quarter, and Lee County has done a good job of making sure the deficit is manageable.
They just haven't been able to make shots, man. You know what I mean? Bottom line, man. You know, it's obviously a very different dynamic in terms of the gameplay, but a lot of the same issues that GAC had against Peachtree Ridge. Couldn't make enough shots. You know, play here, play there, cool. Unfortunately, North has made more plays and subsequently made more shots, and that's been the story of the game. I thought, you know, Garner and Estrada, they had that little run there to begin the second quarter. I thought you were going to be able to see a nice string put together. But outside of those about 2.5 minutes, they really have struggled to find their way offensively, they being Lee County in this instance.
North Gwinnett gets it across the timeline. Calhoun over to Stackhouse. Calhoun gonna put the move on, drop it off. Finished there by Leifson.
That's a big-time play. Refuse the ball screen, drive down the middle of the lane, find the open teammate. Great move there by Calhoun. And then affect the play on the other end. It's a good sequence right there for Cameron.
So bring it across. James back to Calhoun. Has that one stripped away, but regains consciousness, and he's on the receiving end of a block there.
Yeah, good block there by number 10. Sure that we got him on our roster, Marcus.
Yeah, I believe that's Tyler McConnell.
Okay. Young Tyler with a nice block right there.
Young Tyler, YT.
So kick it up top to Gardner. Nice ball moving by Lee County. That was going to be tough. They had a wide open three-pointer there for Wimberley. Even though three-point shooting isn't his specialty, you saw him drive right there into a situation where Calhoun and Toskis had that baseline cut off. Working hard on the offensive glass there, shots just not falling.
Yeah, Brandon, we talk about it often, the ability to make shots, scores. And, right now, Lee County, I think, is maybe a year away, hopefully for Coach Davis right now, maybe 3 months away from them having a full-time scorer, somebody that they can go to.
Yep.
You look at it right here, we're more than 4 minutes into this second half, and they're without a bucket.
Well, and it's the droughts, man. Anytime you go through droughts, they had that run there at the top of the second quarter, able to make some plays, make some shots, but you can't play a team like North Gwinnett. Good shot there on the baseline. You can't play a team like North Gwinnett and go minutes without scoring, 4 minutes without scoring, and the first only score 3 points, and expect to be able to be in the basketball game in the late third quarter. That's just the reality of the situation. You have got to be able to finish some shots, because you best believe Cam Calhoun is going to finish some shots.
His most recent one, nice little floater to make it 45-19.
Well, it's interesting. Those were some of the shots that he struggled to hit early in the game on Saturday night. First, second, even early third, started making more down the stretch, and now you see him locked in, and he's found his rhythm here tonight.
You have a couple substitutions on both sides into the game for Lee County. Number 11. Number 11 is Z Johnson. Also into the game for North Gwinnett, number 5, Immature Bebe, and Hancock checking back into the game, number 2. In amongst the trees there inside was Estrada, normally a three-point shooter. They're trying to get the bucket. Immature Bebe had other plans in there for North Gwinnett. James with it up top, over to Stackhouse. Here's Calhoun.
That's some pretty good footwork right
Isn't
there, guys.
it, though? That's 15 on the night for Calhoun with that basket. He leads all scorers. He's only 4 away from as many as Lee County has on the evening.
Shot fake, the jab to the right, then put it on to the left. The body control to be able to finish through traffic. I wrote in my notes when I saw him earlier this fall that I really thought that his skill set had polished out. We're starting to see some of that here tonight.
No question. When you see Jerry Stackhouse, the founder of Stackhouse Elite, here in the stands this evening, taking in obviously Stackhouse himself, but then also Calhoun's play. And one of the things that I know that those guys pride themselves on with Stackhouse Elite and their ability to develop players, skilled players. We talk about Brandon Ingram, what we saw from him this summer, a guy ranked in the BrandonClayScouting.com Elite 100 in the 15 class. Very well could wind up at North Carolina, Duke, in-state. He'll be a late signee per his father. And Jerry's done a great job now since he's retired from the league of really devoting his effort and energy to these young men. As you see him enjoying the music from DJ Webb, Jerry Stackhouse.
When you look at that UNC-Duke rivalry, it's like a lot of people as a basketball fans kind of pick a side. I was always on the UNC side. So Stackhouse, one of my favorite guys to root on in that UNC-Duke rivalry.
Him and Vince Carter. This was for me when it was at its height, man. Him, Vince Carter, Rasheed Wallace. Oh, man, those were some good days, man. Those were some good days. Grant, Hurley, Leitner, that whole run there in the 90s with that rivalry was flat awesome. Spent a lot of Saturdays watching Jefferson Pilot and ESPN in the early days when it was just one ESPN. No ESPN 2, no ESPN 3, just ESPN 1.
You see Hancock with the bucket there. He gets on the board for North Gwinnett.
The Uno.
Ooh.
Be the second personal foul for KJ Hancock.
Just to finish that thought about Calhoun, I really have been impressed with his demeanor. I think in 12 months he's grown up, not only physically matured, but mentally matured to where he was very much a complimentary player. Today, very much the leader.
No question.
Not the silly fouls, the unnecessary. The unnecessary is not there, and that's noteworthy on this weekend for sure.
McConnell. Here's Z Johnson with it up top. He's going to try to drive or Gwinnett all over it, but we've got a foul on the play.
Foul is Johnson, number 1, Stackhouse, his 3rd personal foul.
Chris Gardner on the bench now for Lee County. We'll see how long he actually stays out of this game. Coach Davis probably giving some of his other pieces a chance to be able to get better as they continue to compete despite the lopsided score at this point in time. So, gentlemen, it's a great season that we're in right now when you look at the tournament slates coming up. Let's talk about some of the stops for you gentlemen on the trail out there as far as events.
I can't wait, man. I get started on Friday. I'll be actually at a junior college event, man, girls event, and I'm going to go over and watch Josh Langford, Madison Academy over there, Holy Innocents. I'll be with you again on Saturday night, Marcus. We talked about the trip out there to the Lighthouse Classic in Mississippi. I'll be in College Station, Texas on Sunday. Great move by Cameron Calhoun. Following weekend, Breakdown Classic in Minnesota. Following weekend, Keith Stevens Team Takeover in Baltimore. Another tough shot there. Following weekend, Nike TLC in Phoenix, followed by City of Palms in Naples, Florida, followed by a trip to LA to visit UCLA, followed by a trip to Washington, Seattle, Washington, that is, to visit the Huskies, and flight home on New Year's Eve, man. That concludes my calendar year. How about you, John?
Well, that's a way to end 2014, man. You might need the first 3 weeks of 2015 to recuperate, man. That's a lot of traveling.
That's doubtful for Brandon. He'll be right back on it January 2nd.
January 6th, man. Trip out to Kansas. Visit Kansas and Kansas State. Man, I waste no time, fellas.
I'll actually be covering the Thanksgiving Showcase presented by OnTheRadarHoops.com. Our affiliate, Shun Williams, hosting that showcase at St. Francis. That's next weekend, November 29th. So I'll be out there covering that. The following weekend, be making my way up to Benton, Kentucky for the Marshall County Hoop Fest, one of the better stops high school basketball wise for sure. And then I think the last trip that I've got on my calendar will be the City of Palms down in Florida as well too.
Hey man, this guy has so many trips he forgets his itinerary, man. Steel City Classic over there in Birmingham, Alabama,
That's
man.
right after the City of Palms. Coming from the guy that had about double the amount of stops that I have.
Hey, I just spoke with my travel agent before the broadcast, man.
That's why I have the Delta app, man. It reminds me 24 hours ahead of time. Oh, you need to leave now.
Please check in for your flight. No, that's good stuff, man. Well, in terms of, just the ability, honestly, Marcus, to get out and see all these different people and really be out in the gym, covering live nationally. So when we talk about rankings and, having obviously the hub for our rankings there on PeachStateBasketball.com, whether it's the Brandon Clay Scouting, Elite 100 for boys, could be a situation where it's the Prospects Nation ranking for girls, but it's all right there, and all of our evaluators have physically been out in the building to actually see these young men and women play, not taking somebody else's word for it, and then placing their rankings on our site.
Definitely nothing like the bird's eye view as we come to the end of the third quarter. We'll show Cam Calhoun. He scored above the rim. Here he says, "Excuse me, little fella, I've got a bucket to get," as he steps through, gets the move there. Cameron Calhoun and North Gwinnett in full control of this one here at the Jared Cook Classic. We'll be back with the fourth quarter after this break. And we are back to the action. Fourth quarter underway here. North Gwinnett in full control. Lee County still fighting, still competing, as you would expect Coach Davis's team to be able to do. They had their first playoff, state playoff appearance during last season. Coach talked about it being the first of his tenure, so this is a team that's going to continue to play hard.
No question. I mean, as we talked about roster-wise, it's a team riddled with youth, I should say. A lot of young prospects. I think, Garner obviously the headliner, but you got a lot of guys that have multiple years here still. And this is a great test. Kind of like it was for Lee out of Huntsville the other day with Jaron Sissom and his crew to come over here and play Pebblebrook. These are exactly the matchups you want. And having coached in South Georgia high school basketball, you don't get a lot of these matchups night in and night out where you're playing teams where the enrollment of the school is 3,000 kids. There are not a lot of those matchups, so you got to get on the bus. You got to make this ride. With a team like this is a great teaching tool. These guys now have this SUV film to go back, to sit, to watch. Zach Smith has it to point out all the positive things that his group has done, areas that they can get better. Please believe that they used that yesterday to work and get ready for today. They'll use it again tomorrow to get ready for Tuesday. And now Lee County's got the same exact thing. It's nothing but a benefit to come play in events like this. Up 30, down 30. Your team gets better. You get ready for the season at hand.
As they continue to fight, earning a trip to the free throw line there. It's going to be number 21. That's Jalen Wimberly. And Coach Zach Smith going to get a timeout. We talked about some of the performances here at the Jared Cook Classic. Him, you mentioned Trey Hansborough and how he'd be an all-team, all-classic selection for you. Brandon, you mentioned Aaron Augustin as well. Let's talk about some of the other pieces that would make you guys all-classic teams here so far.
Well, I think for me, you got to start with Jared Harper from Pebblebrook. I mean, the performance that they put on, you could put the entire Pebblebrook team on there, but Harper, a 2016 prospect, point guard, definitely going to be, one of those kids that is going to be in the BCS Elite 100 on PeachStateBasketball.com. Just such a steady guy, can shoot the ball, handle, make all the passes. There's just not enough words to describe that guy's game.
Well, I'm going to tag off for that, and I'm also going to put Ty Hudson, the Clemson signee, on there. I thought, we talked about this on the broadcast. Great split there by Calhoun, goodness gracious. But Hudson's ability to make the open shot very early in that game. Remember, the first 9 points of the game, it was a Hudson 3, a Harper 3, a Hudson 3, and they never looked back. So Ty Hudson's ability very early on to show himself as a capable jump shooter really opened up the floodgates, per se, for Pebblebrook and allowed them to run away with that. So I think he's worthy of a spot here so far as well.
It really looked like a kid and play routine to start that game.
Hola, hey.
Ty Hudson and Jared Harper.
Hey, we should have broken down to the old LeBron commercial, man. The State Farm, they just kicked and played it, man.
Dude, you talk about a team that had fun back in those days, back when Danny Green was a Cleveland Cavalier with LeBron. You
Take
talk
it back,
about the routines, those guys had fun on the sidelines.
Take it back. Well, it's amazing, how time will change you, man. I know that, even with this all-tournament team, another guy that looks like he's having an absolute blast. You got to take somebody off the home team, and for good reason, man. Cam Calhoun has been great here through the first 2 games, so I think that's another guy, Marcus, that we can pinpoint for a spot on the all-tournament team. I know Jonathan's got 1 spot left. Let's see what he does with it.
Well, I think you got to go with Kyron Galloway from Buford, the tip in at the buzzer to go ahead and secure that win for Coach Whiteheart and his Buford Wolves squad. That was a big rebound, and they had a big lead. Nice shot there by Colby. Had a big lead. They kind of squandered it, but it was Galloway and his rim protection, I think, all throughout the 2 days that we've watched that has been pretty big for the Wolves.
Well, he's just done the little things. Obviously the tip in offensively to finish it, but I think that just illustrates what he does so well in addition to the rim protection, his ability to rebound, to run the floor, to do all those things. I really like what Leaston has done here in the past 10 minutes or so of game time. getting a little rhythm, knocking down some shots. The way we talked about Hancock finding his rhythm, they're going to need Leafson to find his rhythm as well to be able to make some shots for these guys over the course of the season.
I'll tell you what, one player that I would have to have on my list, although I can see how you could easily have 5 before him, but I got to include Derek Obeidi from Pebblebrook because of the way that big fella can affect the game. Coach Washington has really gotten him to where he's not just blocking shots, he's keeping them in play, and Harper and Hudson are off to the races as a result, not to mention the way the guy runs the floor. Like a gazelle has never been a more fitting phrase than the way Obeidi runs the floor for Pebblebrook.
Yeah, no doubt. Another honorable mention guy that I would like to throw in from Alpharetta, although in a losing cause, certainly it was Jalen Gamble's contribution for Alpharetta that really got them back into the game. You know, K. Cook went to the bench, ended up fouling out, but everything kind of centered around Jalen, and you know, the 6'7", forward is showed a lot of skill, a lot of athleticism. He's going to have a big year for Coach Hunt and the Raiders.
Coach Hunt talked about that pregame in that matchup. He said, K-Cock, you know, the UNC Wilmington signee, we know what he can do. Alex Jones, a bright spot for him there as that freshman guard. But he said for us to maximize what we do this year, we will have to have the play from Gamble. He's the glue, the keystone piece, so to speak.
That's awesome. Well, I think looking ahead to tomorrow night, you know, here as this one starts to wind its way down, 56-27, but there'll be North's matchup with Whitfield Academy. Courtney Alexander is a guy who very well could play his way right into this discussion with a quality performance on our inaugural Tuesday night showcase presented by PCBasketball.com tomorrow evening.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Whitfield Academy, one of the more physical teams you'll find in the state. And in my opinion, when you look at Coach Tyrone Johnson's track record.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
he's flat awesome,
one of the toughest
man.
teams in the country.
Well, and I remember this is a Tyrone Johnson woman. We'll get more into this tomorrow during their game, but Ryan Lamb was the point guard for them, and there was a young man named Timothy Morris who wound up going to Stanford. Lamb went to Marshall. This would have been back in 03, 04. Lamb was one of the craftiest point guards I'd ever seen at the time, and he puts me in the mind of a young man that we talk about a lot, Jared Harper. Slender frame, could make all the throws, looked like he was about 12 years old in his face, and all he did was make Tim Morris better and the rest of the team better. I remember watching them play Southwest Atlanta Christian when Dwight Howard was a freshman in high school, and the job that Tyrone Johnson has done since then has been remarkable.
KJ Hancock gets the bucket inside.
He's going to give them some great minutes this year. I know, Zach Smith, you never want to see the football team lose early, but you'll take that young man's services as quickly as you can get him, man.
Hey, root for him while the game's going on. Afterwards, hey, could be worse. This North Gwinnett football program, always one of the best in the state. Year in, year out, Coach Bob Flyer always does a great job.
It's one of the things that people may not understand until you're actually in it. But playing within Gwinnett County, I mean, a kid like Hancock, he could very easily go outside of the city, outside of Metro Atlanta, and be the guy,
no question.
You know, somewhere else. But, you know, he might be the 5th, 6th, 7th, man for this team. And quite honestly, for Coach Smith, what a move.
Oh, boy. That's another guy in the same Hancock mold who might be able to go somewhere else, get more shot touches, do more things offensively, but playing a really good role on a very good team that's going to play a great schedule.
And if you want to go to the state tournament in this area, you've got to have 5, 6, 7 of those type of kids, not to mention a Cameron Calhoun and a Malik Carter just to be able to get yourself in the door.
Here's James. SWAT team called there by number 3. That was Darren Braswell.
I like Braswell. Braswell just checked into the game. He was excited. He was ready, too. He was looking at me. I'm like, no, you don't check in with me, man. You got to go down there. But he was just ramped up and ready to go. You see him mean mugging. He's taking some pride here in this game. Hey, this is my opportunity, and we talked about this the other night inside of the Pebblebrook and Lee Huntsville game. For these guys, this is their opportunity right now to prove to Coach, I should be on the floor. This is my chance to maximize the minutes I'm getting, and this is a great opportunity for me to grow and get better inside of these 5 minutes.
Yeah, like I mentioned the other night, excuse me, Marcus, there is no garbage time. You know, no amount of minutes out here is garbage. I mean, it's always an opportunity. Up 30, down 30. You come in there and you gotta make plays for your team.
That ball goes out of bounds there off of number 4, Ethan Smith for North Gwinnett. Smith is a nice shooter, a player that's only going to get better. Each time you come in here, Smith is more than likely the first player that's going to be out here working. As we see Daniel Immature Bebe knock that one off the glass.
Well, it's funny. We mentioned Jason Cook, Jared's brother, earlier in the broadcast. And in a lot of ways, this is exactly who Jason was as a player in terms of the energy level, the strength. You know, Jason went on to play fullback at the collegiate level. He was a big guy and just a presence on the inside at any given moment in time. But he had those good, soft, sweet feet where he could make plays in the open floor offensively if he was given the opportunity.
Lee County moving the ball
Good
around.
kick. Good basketball there from Braswell, though. I like that. The little penetrate, feels it. Nice pitch, just couldn't knock down the shot.
James from the corner.
James.
Adam James, the 6-foot sophomore, having a good game for Coach Smith and the Bulldogs.
Unlike Trinidad, I don't think he's going to get dropped from this North Gwinnett roster.
Not at all. Here's Estrada.
Bang.
Yeah, speaking of making the most of your minutes, Estrada with a couple of jumpers here today.
Easy to see what his role is for this Trojans team. Has to be able to come in and knock that 3-ball down. Smith back to James.
It's so important to catch the basketball. I mean, that's twice now for North Gwinnett in the last minute of play. And I think we talk about teaching moments, and those are 2 teaching moments. You've got to catch the ball first. You know, one of the things that the legendary Ralph Nunn used to say here at North Gwinnett, possession more important than position. It's more important to have the ball than to worry about where you have the ball at and lose the ball or never catch it. Worry about making sure that you've secured it first and then deal with where the ball puts you at that point.
Reminds me of the old 5-man touch drill that we always used to do at Lanier.
It's just so important to be able to catch, gather with your feet set, and not be able to walk. But the most important thing in that statement, catch.
At the free throw line now, number 23, Malik McCray. A couple substitutions for North Gwinnett. Number 11, Brandon Maffey. As well as number, we'll see that young man's number in a second.
It looked like Eberhard, number 14. Let's see if we get a confirmation there. He's wearing the Cliff Paul State Farm Jordans, man. Kicks of the day. Kicks of the day, that young fella right there, man, with the Cliff Pauls on.
Those are slick.
That's the Argyle pattern CP3s for those of you who don't know exactly what that is. He's even got them custom ID with a number. Got the cool, slick Argyles on, man. I like that from Eberhard. It's the way to come in and make your presence felt really quickly. As we try to get you guys a close-up of Eberhard's shoes. We got it. There it is. That Argyle pattern. That thing is crispy, man. Might have to go out and get myself a sweater like that for one of the broadcasts on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, kicks of the day. So they're going to go home with the W. It's nice to be able to have that award as well. Especially from a gentleman with a well-versed shoe game such as yourself, man.
Hey, man, I can always appreciate somebody coming with a little something different.
2 minutes, 4 seconds left to play in this one. As far as our slate tomorrow, Brandon already mentioned the Whitfield Academy versus North Gwinnett matchup. That'll be our Tuesday night showcase game presented by Peach State Basketball. But at 3:45 p.m., we kick the day off. Lee County will take on Peachtree Ridge. At 5:20 p.m., we'll have Alatoona a well-coached program here in the Atlanta area, taking on Greater Atlanta Christian. At 7 p.m., we'll have Hillcrest out of South Carolina taking on Buford. And then, of course, we've already mentioned the Whitfield Academy versus North Gwinnett matchup. That will be at 8:30 p.m.
Well, and that's going to be a great one. You talk about the opportunity to have two unsigned seniors, the level of Calhoun and then the Courtney Alexander. I mean, that's a great matchup. You know, Alexander, I thought, had a solid summer, but I think he has a chance to play his way into the BrandonClayScouting.com Elite 150 as we expanded those rankings in the springtime from 100 to 150. And this is what we call a show and prove game. You know, I'll be here, popcorn ready. Should be a show. It'll be interesting to see. Tyrone Johnson will have him gassed up. If nothing else, he'll have him ready to go.
Brandon, I've never seen you eat popcorn.
Really?
No.
Oh, man, I like popcorn, man. I try not to eat it too much, man. It makes my mouth dry, man. But for this one, I think I have the popcorn. I'll make sure to have my box. I know that you won't be with us. You'll be spending some family time with the family, man. I can appreciate that. I'll take a picture, man. I'll send it to you on Snapchat or something, John.
I don't have the Snapchat app, so you're going to have to find something else.
Twitter, Instagram, we'll figure it out, man. You probably still use Facebook.
I do, in fact.
Me too, man. I posted a picture of us on there earlier today, man.
Gonna have a foul there.
This is good, though, man. Zach Smith still over here coaching. Buck 30 left, still trying to get a call from the ref. A lot of these guys will be familiar faces for him throughout the season in the region. Nice rapport there between the referees and these guys. I have the opportunity to watch a lot of games out here in this part of town. And it's just nice to see the respect. You know, there's a respect there, man. It's all about the respect.
Estrada trying to get his hand on it the other way.
The crowd's going crazy. They want to see the basket.
Number 11. That's Brandon.
Brandon Maffey.
Just trying to make sure I had that pronunciation right. Brandon Maffey.
Maffey, yeah.
So the official voice of North Gwinnett, I can definitely follow his lead on that. So I wanted to
Look
make
at
sure.
the crowd is in anticipation. The crowd is in anticipation. The bench goes crazy. Sometimes these are the most enjoyable moments in sports when the young men who are still developing, the underclassmen, get an opportunity to get in the game, make a point or two, and you watch the crowd reaction. Look at the student section over there, crouched in heavy anticipation for the Maffey free throw.
Second one on the way. Maffey will split a pair.
Even better, he gets it to his young friend Eberhardt, Mr. Argyle Cliff Paul.
Everybody eating here for North Gwinnett as we approach the final minute here in this matchup.
Lee County will have a tough one tomorrow, Marcus, for Peachtree Ridge. Boy, no time off, you know, to sit and lick your wounds. They're going to have to regroup, you know, take this SUVtv broadcast back to the hotel, get an opportunity to break it down, study the footage, come back ready and prepared for tomorrow's matchup with Aaron Augustin and the Lions from Peachtree Ridge.
There'll be a lot of guard play there in that one. And we're talking about a Peachtree Ridge team that, as we mentioned, shot 13 of 15 from three-point land in the first half. I mean, that's at any level. Like, that is a ridiculous stat.
Now, the beauty of that is, in theory, there isn't much more room for them to go up from today's performance. So if you're Lee County, you watched it, you scouted it, that is almost statistically as well as Peachtree Ridge could shoot the ball. And if it gets worse, well, there's nothing you can do anyway. But just pray to God that you also go 15-15. So in that regard, it's when you talk about scouting and breaking down games, especially in tournament around robin formats, we're going to have a walkthrough in the morning or something to that extent. It's a quick turnaround for your team. Short memories, quick preparation, 3 key points, 3 bullets on each kid, and let's get ready to go to war.
That will have to be the MO for Lee County as they drop this one to North Gwinnett. I'm Marcus Burnett, Brandon Clay, and J.L. Hemingway. We appreciate you joining us here for the Jared Cook Classic live on SUVtv. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Any gym is home.